For the police, it was just another routine assignment, nothing to worry about, just another demo. WPC Fletcher was in the middle of the square, and then the shooting.
Nina Mackay was 25. Her father's a retired superintendent, her brother a serving officer. More than 24 hours on, the police investigation continues, as does the grieving.
Police Constable Sharon Beshanivsky's courage and commitment to her duty that day cost her her life. The sentence I pass is no measure of the value of the life that has been lost.
Those two WPCs killed in the attack have now been named. 32-year-old Fiona Bone and 23-year-old Nicola Hughes, the worst police shooting for over 40 years.
Since the early 1900s, women have played a significant role in the British police service. As society evolved, so did their role in frontline policing. Their resilience, empathy, and leadership proved that diversity is key to protecting and serving our communities. What follows is a tribute to just 5 of the many female officers who have shown immense bravery over the decades, and a commemoration to all 69 women from across policing who have paid the ultimate price by laying down their lives in the line of duty.
Sharon Beshanivsky, at the time of her murder, she'd only been a serving police officer for 9 months. November the 18th, 2005, towards the end of that shift, a call came in, a silent alarm at travel agents. The travel agents, you might not know, have large amounts of cash at that time. So Sharon and Teresa Milburn, her colleague, they went up to the door, and fleeing out of the door were the offenders, the murderers, who opened fire indiscriminately on them, fatally shooting Sharon and critically injuring Teresa. The murder of any police officer in any circumstances is outrageous and egregious, and it resonates throughout all of policing. But for Sharon, being so young in service, and on the day of her daughter's 4th birthday, to lose her life in such a way. Everybody in policing and their families know it's a difficult, dangerous job, but nobody wants that knock on the door, nobody wants that call that somebody's been murdered in the line of duty.
Yvonne Fletcher loved being a police officer, very, very positive. On the 17th of April 1984, there was 2 protests going on outside the Libyan People's Bureau in St James's Square. Yvonne Fletcher was facing the anti-Gaddafi protesters when a shot comes out from the window on the 1st floor. We got news quite quickly that a police officer, a woman officer, had been shot. Everything, drop everything and ran. I ended up in the square, and all you could see were the hats, the police helmets, and you could see Yvonne Fletcher's hat in the square.
At Westminster Hospital, policemen waited anxiously to hear news of their colleague, but early this afternoon a statement was made about her.
After about an hour undergoing surgery, she died of serious gunshot wounds at about midday.
It tears your heart out, whether it's a man or a woman. It's a police officer, and when you're in an institution like the police, it is like family. Massive impact. You're just policing a demonstration, doing your job. And, 10, 15 shots fired, she's gone. It's shocking.
Nicola was a little mischievous, intelligent and fun girl, and always will be.
Fiona never told us any of the bad things about her job. All we were ever told was the good bits or the funny bits.
The day started out quite normal, and I'd messaged Nicola that morning, come out of work, and then on the way home I had a phone call, and they brought the news that she'd been shot and killed.
We were watching the 1 o'clock news on the BBC, and about 30 seconds later, the policeman knocked on the door.
Those 2 WPCs killed in the attack have now been named. 32-year-old Fiona Bone and 23-year-old Nicola Hughes.
This is one of the darkest days in the history of Greater Manchester Police, if not the police service overall.
It's a hole that will never be filled, but you've got to live with it.
You're catapulted into this revolving nightmare, day in, day out, hour by hour. So it gets easier over time, but the scars on your heart never go away.
On the day Nina and her group were working in East London, she had been in the police for 6-7 years. Well, she was a very competent police officer. There was a man who was wanted. She performed the job of opening the door with a heavy weight. Unbeknown to her, her assailant was behind the door, and as she broke the door open, he moved forward and stabbed her. Tricia, my wife, and I were away visiting a friend. When I got up in the morning, I said to Tricia, there's a tremendous number of missed calls. But there was one that I picked up from Detective Superintendent. He said to me that Nina had gone. I couldn't understand. Gone? I said, gone where? Of course it was, and still is, great shock.
Behind every uniform there's a human being, and they've got people waiting for them to come home. That day, Sharon Beshinivsky didn't go home to her children. There are a number of memorials and memorial events across the country, but the UK Police Memorial brings all of those things together.
It's important that all police officers killed on duty are remembered. It's important for all the relatives of those police officers that have been killed on duty, that they know that they've been remembered and their names will never ever be forgotten.
I think looking at Nicola and Fiona's legacy, I think places like this memorial speak volumes about their legacy. It says what they did, what they gave up, what they sacrificed.
I think of Nina every day. She will not be forgotten. Her service will not be forgotten and will be continued to be remembered ongoing into time.